my barometer, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I want to hear it. List your barometer.
So my barometer for Hall of Fame has always been for a period of time where you're either the best or one of the absolute best at your job in whatever sport it is.
Yep.
Was there a time when Eli Manning was the best quarterback in the NFL?
Never, not once.
Never. And I know it's unfair in some light because you're like, well, he played with Peyton and he played with Tom and Aaron Rodgers. So he's not a Hall of Famer. There's no shame in not. There's no shame. I actually think they have a Hall of Very Good or something that sends out a list and has like a little production.
Oh, I like that.
He's a Hall of Very Good.
Where is that?
It's down the street from Canton.
I'm going to try for that.
What are you around the corner from?
It's like not gold jacket. It's a mustard jacket. Like
yeah,
right. Okay.
Yeah, a little different jacket. The whole thing.
Eli, I do know Eli led the league in interceptions 3 or 4 seasons.
That's hard to do.
Which is not easy to do and rather inglorious. There were plenty of seasons they had. How many? Like losing records versus Super Bowls as well. Like the only time, Andy, that Eli Manning was truly elite or led the league was the best quarterback in football was over like a 2-game stretch. And there's no one single game except maybe he was really good, or maybe the Packers were really that bad in that divisional round game on the way to Super Bowl 46. But there was no one time where you ever thought like, oh my God, what are they going to do because they're going up against Eli Manning? It's not to say he couldn't chuck it or sling it and didn't have the clutch comeback ability, because we saw it on display many times. But he was never that somebody that you thought defenses don't sleep all week because Sunday they play Eli Manning.
I know I rarely like to be the stats guy because I like to watch games and kind of assess it with the eyeball, but 60.3 completion percentage. Oh, is that good? I mean, he's barely out of the 50s.
That's not good, buddy.
No, it isn't.
That's not good. And just so I'm clearly understand, your barometer is the best at their position, or at least
among
top 5.
the best.
Among the best. I'm sorry, among the best for a
period of time. It doesn't have to be a long period of time. It can be 2 or 3 years. Like, for example, there was a period of time Adam Vinatieri was the best kicker in football.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would have disputed it, right? So he's a Hall of Famer. Like, that's a good argument in his direction. Show me the list where you would have put Eli. Remember, there was that whole debate: is Eli elite? You can't spell Eli or elite without Eli. That whole he was never elite. He was never elite.
I got into this. This would be one of my biggest arguments with my old co-host down at Sports Radio 610. He loves Eli, and we just had this debate. And I agree with you. So I think to be a Hall of Famer, you got to be one of the top 5 guys at your position for, I'd say, a 5 to 7 year period.
Yeah.
What is the metric? What is the thing that you can look at? You can just go to his wiki right now, and you can find out if he's this or not. What is the barometer for the best at your position in any given year? What do you are
Pro Bowl? All Pro?
All Pro.
Yeah.
Go look at his wiki page. How many All Pro nods? You ready? I'll tell you.
Eli?
Yeah. Guess how many All Pros he's had?
0.0.
That is correct. He's not been an All-Pro one time in his career. Like
he was only a 4-time Pro Bowler, and they give those away like candy.
Zach Thomas, it took him forever to get into the Hall of Fame, and he was
Snoop Huntley's 3 behind him.
He was a 5-time first-team All-Pro, and it took Zach. You cannot tell me that a quarterback who has never been awarded an All-Pro second team or first team ever once in his career is a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. Everybody in New York, though, would say he's a Hall of Famer just based on the fact that, he's
two games.
2 games.
2 games. He beat Belichick and Brady.
That doesn't define your whole career. 2 games.
No, I agree. And since it seems like we're all like-minded, let's go. We got a couple of callers lining up. Let's go to the phone
We're
lines.
on the same now.
617-779-7937. Let's go to Ed in the truck, who I think disagrees with us. What's up, Ed?
Yeah. So I'm definitely a Giants fan. I grew up a Giants fan. I'm only 26, so I just got to pretty much be alive to see those 2 Super Bowls. Honestly, I mean, everybody in Mass and in New England says Tom Brady's the GOAT. So how are you going to say Tom Brady's the GOAT, but then on the other hand, discredit Eli, who beat Tom Brady 2 times? Not one. If it was just one, okay, I get it. But it was twice. And for twice, you can't even say, his defense carried him 2 times. It was twice in a whole different span. One in 2007. And then 1 in 11. So that's a few years gap of players changing, but Eli's remaining the same. So, hey, that's on you guys for what you guys think. But my opinion, I definitely think he should belong.
Thanks for the call, Ed.
That does carry weight with people. That his 2 Super Bowl wins weren't over chumps. It was over, the best to ever do it.
I think he's getting in. I mean, I just want to say that. I think he's getting in.
Does he deserve to get in?
But
I bet a chunk of money he's getting in.
I don't.
Does he deserve to get in?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think so either.
Deserves got nothing to do with it.
No, I get it. But I think he's getting in, and I just think that's a shame because I don't think he's worthy of that honor. I don't.
And there's other guys that I've said that about. Like, I don't believe Tony Dungy is a Hall of Fame coach in my mind. He's in the Hall of Fame, so you can't take that away. The thing that I don't like about this is when you put these types of guys in, is it sets a precedent. And then that becomes the argument where you can put another quarterback in 10 years who's mediocre, hasn't really done it. It's interesting because the 2 guys involved in Eli Manning's career, Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning, are very different. I think Phillip Rivers is closer to a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he never won anything. Never got to the Super Bowl, never won the Super Bowl. Eli Manning got to and won 2 Super Bowls and went through not only Belichick and Brady, but derailed their perfect season. But an argument against Ed, did Eli Manning derail their perfect season, or did the NASCAR front of Osi Umenyiora and Strahan and those guys do it? And the Patriots offensive line had a bad day and everything crumbled down, and Eli Manning threw it up for grabs, and a guy got it stuck to his head, and that whole thing. I mean, Eli Manning was good enough to win 2 Super Bowls against Tom Brady. No one can ever take that away from him. Doesn't mean you should be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Right? Like, I mean, guys,
2 games should not define your whole career. I'm sorry.
I mean, hey, Doug Williams, Jay Schrader, Mark Rippon all played better in their 1 Super Bowl win over the decade plus where Joe Gibbs got the then known as Redskins to win 3 Super Bowls. They're not in the Hall of Fame. They're halfway to Eli. It's because of the scope, because of the opponent, and, of course, because of the magnitude, especially, of that first win. You could say he probably made, 4 really good passes? Weehaw.
Yeah, no, there weren't a ton. There's that one to Manningham down the sideline.
It was a dime.
A ridiculous throw.
He played his last 4 years, you guys. He had losing records.
Oh, yeah.
But
even that could happen if that was the fall off after he had a great career.
For the last 4 years,
but
we're losing records.
When was the great part of his career? I'm just going to look at certain seasons. Okay, Giants went 11-5 in 2005. He completed 52% of his passes. He threw 17 interceptions compared to 24 touchdowns. His numbers, his production, and I also wonder, do we hold his faces and his demeanor against him?
You can't.
Because a lot of people didn't like him when he was a quarterback. A lot of people like him better now as a commentator.
That is a Manning trait right there.